Good morning, Clinton College students, faculty, staff, alumni, and friends. My name is LaTasia White. I am a sophomore from Irvington, New Jersey, majoring in biology. Welcome to the fourth installment of the Spring 2022 Virtual Beacon Forum series of Clinton College. Woo woo! The purpose of our Beacon Forum series is to bring together our campus community each Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon for a dedicated time of inspiration, education, and fellowship. Beacon Forum exposes our Clinton family to a variety of thought leaders, change agents, creatives, and innovators who embody one or more of our core values: scholarship, servant leadership, social change, and spirituality. Beacon Forum gives us an opportunity to have meaningful conversations with each other and professionals who are making a difference in our world. We encourage all Clinton students to actively participate in the Q&A segment with our guest speaker, led by our president, Dr. Lester McCoy. Share your questions and reflections in the comments throughout today's event, and especially during the Q&A. We want your input. We are delighted to have as our featured speaker today, Mrs. Jennifer Fowler Howard, Director of Business Solutions for PERS Scholars, located in Columbus, Ohio. On behalf of the entire Clinton College family, we say thank you to our friends from the community for spending part of your day with us. Be sure to follow our social media platforms for updates on future events, new academic programs, course offerings, and other activities. We hope you enjoy today's broadcast.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening sky. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. So let us march on till victory is won. Let's go. March on. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn and died. But yet with the steady beat, have not our weary feet come to the place for which our Father sighed. We have come over a way that with tears have been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughter, out from the gloomy past, till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. God of our weary, God of our silent tears, Thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, Thou who hast by Thy might led us into the light, to keep us forever in the path we pray. Bless our feet, stray from the places, our God, where we met Thee. Bless our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget Thee. Shadow beneath Thy hand, may we forever stand true to our God, true to our Lady Land. Yeah, true to our to our native land. Adi, Yatuya, Asili, Kwali, Adi.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will they be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream.
Hello, everyone. My name is George Freeman from Rock Hill, South Carolina. I am a junior here at Clinton College. My major is religious studies, and I will be offering our prayer for today. With all hearts and minds being fixed, let us go to our God in prayer. Our Father in heaven, I come to you at this time, thanking you for thus another day, thanking you for allowing us to gather together yet again. I now ask for a special blessing to be placed upon everyone involved in making this service possible, all attendees, and our speaker for today. As always, Father God, if I ever failed in asking anything of you, I pray right now that you do not fail in giving. For this is my thanks and this is my prayer. In the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus, who is the Christ. Amen. And now I have a musical selection by Miss LaTasia Green, a member of the Clinton College women's basketball team.
Hi, my name is LaTasia Green. I'm from Ocala, Florida. I will be going to Clinton College for my bachelor's degree to major in business, and I will be singing a medley with two songs called Give Me You and Falling in Love with Jesus, because I believe those two songs really connect with each other in a spiritual way, because if you asking God to really give you and you pleading, you asking, you continuously doing it, you begin to fall in love with him. So those are the reasons why I'll be singing those songs. All right, so here we go. Give me you. Everything else can wait. Give me you. I hope it's not too late. Lord, give me you. Lord, give me you. Lord, give me you. Lord, give me you. Give me you. Everything else can wait. Give me you. I hope it's not too late. Whoa, falling in love with Jesus, my falling in love with Jesus, falling in love with Jesus is the best thing I've ever done. In his arms, I feel protected, yeah. In his arms, I'm never disconnected. In his arms, I feel protected, 'cause there is no place I'd rather So give me you, and everything else can wait. Give me you, I hope it's not too late. Give me you.
I'm back, everyone. For the people who may just be tuning in, I am LaTasia White, a sophomore here at Clinton College, and I will be introducing our wonderful guest speaker for today. Jennifer Fowler Howard is the Director of Business Solutions at Per Scholars, a nonprofit that provides education and job placement assistance to diverse individuals in the IT field. Additionally, she is the founder and executive director of Project Clouds, a nonprofit organization that provides leadership training, life skill development, and college and career preparation for youth aged 14 through 22. Jenn has a very educational background that has prepared her to work collaboratively and compassionately with others as a community developer and youth advocate. She holds a Bachelor of Science in Criminology and Criminal Justice from the University of Missouri St. Louis. Further, she completed a Master of Divinity degree from Methodist Theological School in Ohio. Jennifer is passionate about people and seeks daily to inspire, motivate, and encourage those around her to live authentic, full lives, especially young people. Her recent debut as a TEDx King Lincoln Bronzeville speaker allowed her to talk about the power of influence in the lives of teens and young adults. Jean is a kid at heart who seeks to live a life that brings glory to God. She loves puzzles, she loves reading and binge watching reality TV shows. She lives in Columbus, Ohio with her spouse.
Good morning. It is an honor to be with you all today. I would love to take a quick moment, if that's okay, and acknowledge Dr. Lester McCorn and Dr. Tony McNeil for this opportunity, and as well as all of the other people who work behind the scenes to make things like this happen. So whether you made a flyer, uploaded a video, sent an email, sent out reminders, made a schedule, attended a meeting, thank you for all that you are doing to make this Beacon Forum series possible for your fellow students and community. Additionally, thank you to every student and community member joining us today. Or if you're watching on the replay, thank you for being here and being a part of this community, for being present, for making the choice to hear these words and other words today so that you can activate them in your own personal lives and further develop the best version of yourself, and thus being a part of this beloved community. With the time that I have today, I would love to speak briefly on how to fully embrace the beloved community. The educator in me is not one to assume anyone's knowledge. So to ensure that we're all operating from the same place, I offer this context and definition. The beloved community is a term that was originated by philosopher Josiah Royce and was rooted in the work of Howard Thurman. However, it was popularized by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. King defined a beloved community as a group of people that could come together to solve any social issue, division, or struggle. Again, King defined a beloved community as a group of people that could come together to solve any social issue, division, or struggle. One of my favorite things about this definition is the word any. The use of this word encompasses everything, and thus a particular context, location, or random nuance of a group does not impact the overall ability to be successful. With that clarity, to me, that means that any group, this group even, can come together to address concerns or issues to produce a solution that benefits everyone. Now, there are some of you that may think, I'm just a student. How can I bring about a change? Or I just got to this institution. I'm really not all of that involved. How can I really bring about a change. Others of you may say, there's too many of us to get together and bring about change. There's others that say there's not enough of us to bring about change. My response to each of those statements is really quite simple. You must fully embrace the beloved community. Some of you will say, how? So I offer these 4 steps. Step 1, be committed to advancing your scholarship. All of you are on the journey of earning a degree or expanding your knowledge in some way. And in doing so, you will have to take a variety of classes. Some of them you'll be excited about, and others you will simply take because they are required or because they fit into your schedule. As you are doing this and doing the work of advancing your scholarship, do the work of fully engaging in the learning opportunity before you. Read the material. Ask the hard questions. Don't discredit your experiences or thoughts because they're not good enough. Remember that you belong in the very place that you are in right now, and you are building a vocabulary and a framework to think for yourself. Empower yourself to merge your various learnings into a space that allow you to view the world, experience the world, and change the current state of the world simply because you thought it so. There are some of you who are like me and struggle with perfectionism, or you get frustrated with yourself because you don't always understand something the first time it's presented, or you have to read something 4 or 5 times before it actually makes sense. Hear me when I say you are not alone. I'm there with you. Everyone has a quirk that makes their learning journey interesting. As you are on the journey of advancing your scholarship, be gracious and gentle with yourself. Resist the urge to abuse yourself mentally with negative thoughts and simply commit to showing up as your best self each day. As life happens around you, your best self may change from day to day. But regardless of what that looks like, bring your best self to the table and everything else will be fine. Once you have committed to advancing your scholarship, it is important to be committed to modeling servant leadership. As I think about servant leadership, I'm reminded of one of my favorite quotes by a 19th century philosopher by the name of Jenn. And he said, "I am an individual completely unique, yet a composite of anything and everything that has ever touched my life. And though I will not change for you, I cannot be around you without being changed by you." We must see and engage with people. Yes, we have our own journeys and processes in life, but we need to be open enough to learn about others and ourselves through very small interactions. We must care about the journey of other people and seek to be a bridge. When you think about a bridge, you often think about walking or driving from one side of something to the other side. In life, we are all journeying from one place to the next, whether it's to the grocery store across the street, whether it's to a new career that you're trying to launch into, or through a therapy session to heal those hidden wounds. We are all on a journey. And in that journey, there will be times in which we need assistance. You know, it's always easier to get somewhere when your GPS is working or someone has told you how to get there. My request today is that you engage with others. As you engage with others, be willing to be slightly delayed in order for someone else to be free. The traumas of their past or failures or their uncertainty about the journey may stop them from being able to see clearly how to get to where they need to go. In those moments, be the bridge that will support them. Be the example that it is possible. Be the voice that you didn't have when you did it that says, it's okay, you can do it. Let me walk with you through this. It is up to us to interact with people in such a way that they are better because of that interaction. At this point, we have advanced our scholarship. We have modeled servant leadership, but we must make sure that we are caring for ourselves. One of the ways that we can do that is by being committed to developing our own spirituality. A large piece of developing your own spirituality means that you have to decide how you are going to engage with God. Just because your mom, your dad, your auntie, your grandma, your uncle, your cousins all engaged in a certain practice does not mean that you have to do it the same exact way. Build a personal relationship with God as you would any other friendship. I don't talk to all of my friends the same way. Some of them get the super professional version of me. Others get the silly, goofy, making up random songs version of me. Others get the scholarly book nerd version of me. Some get a combination of them, and some get all of me. Hi, Tajay. But the point is that each of them has a unique relationship with me that is not contingent on anyone else or anyone else's relationship with me. We must do the same thing when it comes to God. Who is God to you? What are God's characteristics to you? How have you experienced God? What is God saying to you? What has God called you to do? These are all personal questions that only you and God can answer. Find a way to block out the noise and the distractions and get to an intimate place where only you and God dwell, and allow that place to be so sacred that other people can't disrupt it. There will be times in your journey in which others will attempt to tell you what they think God says or God thinks about you. In those moments, I hope that you accept their words through the filter of your understanding of God. Don't let others tell you how God feels about you when you have your own relationship with God. There are various ways that you can embark on this journey, because believe me, it is a journey. You can read the Bible. You can listen to music. You can look out at nature. You can reflect on the various ways that you have experienced God. While God never changes, the way that we experience God does. So I challenge you to take the time to sit and remember. Be quiet and listen. Be open and observant. I promise you that that is the place and the very moment that God will meet you. In that moment where you have experienced God, served others, and done the work of learning for yourself, that is in fact when change happens. So lastly, we must be committed to seeing social change. I've had the privilege of finding and operating in my purpose and passion for the last several years. Day in and day out, I get to do the work of bringing about a change in my community. I serve as the founder and executive director of Project Clouds, which is a nonprofit organization working with youth between the ages of 14 and 22 on leadership development, life skill advancements, and preparing for colleges and future and careers. What a joy it is for me to meet with students and hear them say, Miss Jenn, you're the first adult to ever really listen to me. Or Miss Jenn, I want to do X, Y, and Z program, but it's too expensive. Can Clouds do something like that? And then doing the work of creating that very program at an affordable rate. I get to remove the barriers of finances and resources and ensure that young people have what they need to make holistic advancements towards promising futures. Additionally, I also get the privilege of serving as the Director of Business Solutions for a national nonprofit called Perscolas that believes in providing IT training and education at no cost before, during, or after the programming to help people launch into the IT fields. There have been people who have been trying to raise their families and want to break into the IT field, but they keep running into hurdles until they run into Perscolas. And after a few short months with us, they find themselves doing the very thing that they want to do, working in IT. That's life-changing. That is an opportunity to transform lives. Now, I don't speak about my work in this moment to brag about myself, but to simply say that it is possible. I do this work because in order to hope for a better tomorrow, we must do the work of preparing people to live today. That is my mission. That's my purpose. The joy for me comes in knowing that all of us have different purposes and passions. And if we would simply do that thing, you know, the one thing that you are called to do, the thing that you are passionate about, the thing that you were created for, we can in fact bring about social change and progress in this country in our lifetime, because we will collectively impact all of the segments of the world and be able to solve the issues. But it requires us to do the thing that we are called to do in the lane that we are called to be in. The moment that we do that, we collectively come together to do that thing as we're caring for others and learning. In that moment, we fulfill the mission of the beloved community. I, for one, am excited to do this work with you. I simply ask, will you join me? Thank you.
I want to answer your question. Yes, I will join you. Thank you, Jenn Howard. My God, that was so powerful. Students and friends alike, I'm sure, were blessed by your words. So poignant and so practical. And I want to give our audience a chance to engage with you. And so those of you who are watching with us, please put your questions in the chat. We have a great, blessed opportunity to share with this woman of God who has blessed us from her experience and given us some great nuggets of wisdom to apply to our lives. So please put those questions in the chat so that we can spend some time in conversation. And I'll kick it off. I want to thank you for talking in such a transparent way and grounding it in spiritual principles and practices that I think are so necessary. As you know, in today's environment, you have to be very careful, depending on where you are, about how you talk about your spirituality. And many students, when they go to college, leave their spirituality at home. And so I would love for you to talk a little bit more about how to bring, in your words, your whole self to the table in your education experience, curricular and co-curricular, campus and off campus. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yes. So I will tell you what I didn't say is that I'm actually a preacher's kid, right? So I was one of those people that was raised in the church and given particular traditions, and this is what it means, right? Somewhere along the line, I began to ask the question of why. Why is this? Why do we do it this way? But if God is this, then how can this also be true? Right. And I think that the moment that I freed myself to a point in which I could ask the questions, I was able to truly unpack who God was for me. People that know me from earlier in life will know that I was a person who thought that because of who my daddy was, I was going straight to heaven. Right. Like, do you know the Reverend A.W. Fowler Jr.? Because that's my daddy. And because of who my daddy is, I have a guaranteed shot. Right. But then as we go throughout life, I realized that my spiritual journey is not anybody else's. And it's only me that's going to be able to move it in various places. It can't be contingent upon anything else. And the moment that it's separated from somebody else, I had to have something to hold on to. Right. So when life hits, right, if you don't have that relationship or you don't have those thoughts or those experiences, it's hard to say, well, I'm going to be all right because X, Y, Z, right? So when I began to find out who God was for me, right, and that God loved me not because I was my daddy's daughter or because I was my mama's daughter, not because I was a younger sister, not because I went to school, not because I had a certain group of friends, but because I was simply me, right? That was enough for God. Then I could engage with God differently and figure out who God was. And then that freed me up to do just anything else I needed to do.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Thank you for sharing that. Along those same lines, you talked very eloquently about purpose and passion. How did you find your purpose and passion in the work that you're doing now?
So I was one of those young people who always wanted an adult to listen to me and hear me. And I didn't always feel heard and I didn't always feel seen. And so I told myself at a very early age that if I became an adult, I wanted to be the adult that I didn't have, right? So I wanted the people that were coming up behind me to be able to say, I know if I get to Miss Jenn, I can talk this out, I can process this out. And so it started one day at a time, right? I said, I want to create programming so people feel heard. And so sometimes that looks like people getting on a Zoom call and just talking about how they're feeling, right? It means taking a stop at the grocery store when you see a kid getting yelled at because they picked up XYZ or because they said, stopping in that moment and engaging in conversation with them, even though I'm a stranger, to say, hey, you ain't really make the right decision there, but there's a different way we can talk about this, right? And making sure that students fully understand as opposed to always being reprimanded, right? And so as I navigated those spaces, it felt genuine and authentic, and it didn't really feel like work, right? And one of the things that I have learned is that if I do the thing I'm passionate about, I don't have to worry about the deadline because it's done. Like I want to do it. I'm excited to do it. And so I try to help people find that passion, because when you find it, you free yourself up of like the stress of having to work and the stress of having to do various things because you want to, and it brings you joy.
Indeed. Thank you for that. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, we're having a wonderful conversation with our Beacon Forum speaker today, Jenn Fowler Howard. We are encouraging you all to engage with us by putting your questions in the chat for Ms. Howard. We're happy to have a couple of our students who have participated today. And I'm going to ask LaTasia White to come on the screen now and ask a question.
Yes, so my question is, what advice would you give someone like who's learning their relationship with God and is trying to observe themselves, but also is trying to be quiet and like block out people who saying negative stuff?
So I would tell you that you are making the right choice by deciding that you want to decide it for yourself, right? There are always going to be people talking at you and to you about who God is, particularly when they find out that you're on the journey, right? So you're going to have to say sometimes, thanks for that. Can I come back and talk to you later about it, right? I want to talk to God about that, right? You're going to have to figure out what mechanism it is for you that allows you to truly connect with God. I know for me, I have various playlists. I have an Encourage Yourself playlist that I built where the words that are built on biblical terms and biblical understandings of God will just run and it'll speak to me in such a way, and I'll commune into a space with God. But you have to be committed to talking to God for yourself and not through other people and mechanisms, right? Because that will allow you to be able to hear God. And then in those conversations, I would charge you not to feel the need to run back and tell everybody what God told you. Because what God told you, and you can operate on that authority and know that if you are doing what God has called you to do, God will go before you, behind you, and next to you and make sure that you're all right.
Okay, thank you.
You are welcome.
Wonderful advice. Yeah, thank you for that. Another one of our students who participated in the Beacon Forum today, George Freeman. I think George has a question.
Hello again.
Hi, George.
You spoke on being on your journey and experiencing God while developing your own spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
So being a real big family man, one of the ways that I do that, and this is just me personally, I go into seclusion. So like when I mean seclusion, like totally from everybody, even if we're in the same house, I have to be, and it's not like a few moments or whatever, it can be days at a time. I've even did it like weeks at a time. Well, I just feel like I can't be around nobody. And I might just go and pray. And like you said, be quiet and just lay in the room by myself waiting to hear or feel something. So with doing that, sometimes it kind of make family members, children, or whatever kind of feel like I'm being wishy-washy with them. Mm-hmm. Or I'm into them this day, but now I got days where I don't want to deal with them. And it's really kind of hard to explain to them what I'm doing and why that is. So any advice on how I can maybe, communicate that better with them?
I would say if I were in your situation, that those people that are in your immediate circle of influence, that are like in the household directly in that intimate place where we let people in, yes, you have to be willing to have an open conversation with them, not about what God is saying, but just to say, I'm at a place right now where it needs to be me and God, right? And so that may mean that I may disassociate a little bit to make sure that I am hearing for God so that I can show up as the best version of myself for you, right? But I also believe that if there are household things that you were supposed to be doing, that God would understand and want you to take care of your household, right? And so you're going to have to figure out what that balance is between being present in the household and being present with God. Because God is not asking you to choose one or the other, right? If God has called you to be the head of that household, God needs you to be the head of that household. And you can't be the head if you're gone for weeks, right? So it's a matter of setting designated time to say, I'm not going to be available during this time to this time so that I can go and dwell with God. But then once you have dwelt, come back and act, right? Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But I think that for the people in that intimate circle, you got to let them know, hey, it's not that I don't love you. It's not that I don't care. It's that I feel called to do this particular thing right now. And I want to be obedient to that. And I believe that will bless us in the end after all.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, that's so powerful. So you're really helping us think about the balance between living in community as an individual who is responsible to community, and vice versa. Like community is responsible to and for the individuals. Could you talk a little bit? We're in Black History Month, right? So it's a time for us to kind of reflect on the life and legacy of our ancestors, the lessons they've taught us, the principles that we try to uphold and honor. Can you talk a little bit more about how beloved community relates to our history as Africans in America?
So I think that, outside of the fact that it is tied to the work of Martin Luther King, who during Black History Month, we focus a lot on, right? I think that it opens us up to the opportunity to learn more about our ancestors and Black people throughout history who have done amazing things. Those that know me know that I am a huge Anna Julia Cooper fan, and live and die by some of her works and her charges to people, right? And so this beloved community allows us to open our minds to the actions and works of other people throughout history. But we have to be willing to learn about them, right? To see the impact that they made, to continue the work that they've done or advance it in various ways, right? We can't know where we're going until we know where we've been, right? And so a piece of that is going to be challenging yourself to learn more than just the staple Black history people, right? Go deeper and figure out who came before them or who they were influenced or mentored by, or who was doing that work but didn't have the press to advertise or the media to advertise what they were doing, but they still did it anyway, right? There's lessons to be learned from those people as well. And they help us fully understand this community that we are really joining and a part of.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So, I often think about this. I've probably preached and taught about this idea that our community is in jeopardy. And some of it is a result of external forces that have kind of divided and conquered our sense of community. But there is a sense of resilience that our people have just, mastered. We find a way to recreate, maybe even morph into new community going forward. This quote that you gave, I wrote it down. It was so powerful. Be willing to be slightly delayed in order for others to be free. I mean, isn't that the story of our people?
Yeah.
You want to say a little bit more about that?
So those words are really God words, because I was writing, and that's what came out. But as I wrote it, I thought about the fact that there are times that we are so busy, or that we're in such a hurry to go to work, take care of the kids, to do this, that, the errands and the things of life, that we miss opportunities to truly be a blessing, right? Now, yes, we have Sunday mornings, or various opportunities to interact with people where we can pray for people and support them. But I just believe, at least the God that I serve is in the blessing business every day, right? And so a small delay on my part, if I get to that meeting just 5 minutes later, and somebody else is better because of it, I think that, the cost outweigh, the pros outweigh the cons in that situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that sentence was just a charge for us to slow down, and be aware of what is going on around us. Because oftentimes we don't see the people in need. We don't see the person that needs the smile. We don't see the person that's like, they have a question, but they're not really sure if they can ask it yet. But then you kept going. So to them, that meant I can't ask it, right? I've been that person that's like, God, if this is really you, make them pause for a moment so that I know that it's safe, right? To create that space for people to enter. But then if they keep going, then it's like, okay, God, you either didn't hear me or it wasn't safe. And so, like, what does that do to the person, right? And so being willing to stop and see the unseen, to stop and see what's going on around you, because we're all a part of this beloved community, right?
Yes.
And so that means we all are charged to do something, but you can't do your something if you're busy running on to the next thing.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I must confess, I was convicted by that. I have tunnel vision often and don't want to be delayed or inconvenienced while I'm doing whatever I think is the most important thing in the world at that moment. But you really, you spoke to me, and I'm sure others could feel this way, that the only way we can all get there is if we are a little delayed and inconvenienced. I forget, I think it may have been Fannie Lou Hamer who said, none of us are free until all of us
are free.
That really is the mindset that we need to have in order to restore beloved community and advance what community means. There are a couple more questions in the chat. I'm going to ask DK to put those up for us. What recommendations do you have for our students who feel overwhelmed by the pressures of online learning? Lord have mercy. Being present with family and friends, and being Black in a world in turmoil. What advice do you have for them to get through the day? That's from Dr. McNeil.
So I would say first, let's acknowledge that any of those things individually is a lot, right? Yeah. So online learning in and of itself is a hurdle. Being present with family and friends during a pandemic is a hurdle. Being Black in a world of turmoil is a hurdle all by itself. So in dealing with all of it, the first thing that comes to my mind in regards to recommendations to get through is that you have to prioritize at some point some self-care. And self-care isn't I got 2 hours of sleep or I took a nap, right? So you have to make sure that your soul and your body are recharged to do the work that you are called to do in this season, right? I know for me, I'm a puzzle person. I like to do puzzles. I won't do a puzzle that's less than 1,000 pieces though, right? And so like being able to stop for a moment and finagle the pieces of a puzzle, right? Because that takes some time, right? You got to slow down for that. You have to be present mentally and physically to do that, right? For some people, it is driving, right? So what does it mean to go out on the highway that goes in a circle? Everybody got one of those highways that go in a circle. Just go in the circle and allow your mind to be free. But you have to begin to take time for yourself because everybody else is always going to need time, right? But then also remember that this is a season, right? It's not a sprint. It is a segment of your life right now. I worked full time while doing my master's program, which was a full-time program, right? So there are days in which I was tired, I was exhausted, I was frustrated. I was like, I don't want to do this no more, right? but it was a season of my life that has now ended and I'm moving on to these other things, right? So keep it in perspective and remember that it is a season, but within that season, make sure that you are doing the work of caring for yourself, whatever that looks like.
Great. Thank you. One final question. If possible, what is your contact information for both of your organizations?
So Project Clouds is the nonprofit that I founded and started. The website for Project Clouds is www.projectclouds.org. www.projectclouds.org. And then for Perscolas, the email address is the website is also very simple, www.perscolas.org. Perscolas, Perscholas.
Great. How can folks support your work?
If you supporting the work means for Project Clouds, go to the website, look at the programming and events that we have going on, sign up for the newsletter for when you know when there's events. Because of the pandemic right now, we're doing a lot of things virtual. So we have a lot of programming coming up that you could just be a part of virtually where you are. Give to the organization. We have a donation page because we are a 501c3. Perscolas is all over the country. If you know people, regardless of their age, there are young people, there are people in the middle of careers that want to launch into the IT space, go to perscolas.org and sign up for a class that's close to you and commit the time to learning about IT, and then we will work with you to launch those careers. So if you spread the word about both organizations, you've done the work that I believe is most helpful.
Indeed. Dean McLam put up here, remember, Jesus never ran anywhere. He always walked and stopped when necessary to comfort and help people. He comforts us so we can comfort others. Yes. Thank you, Dean. That is great wisdom. And by the way, Dean McLam, happy birthday. Today's his birthday, and I hope that you are taking time today for God to strengthen and comfort you, encourage you, give you what you need to do the great work that you're doing as a presiding elder and as a dean. Once again, Jenn Fowler Howard, thank you so much for sharing so liberally with the Clinton beloved community. Thank you, as we say, for taking the assignment seriously. You really did help us think and expand our understanding of beloved community. It is no one definition, but the more we embrace it, the more we bring meaning and significance to that. So I want to thank you. It's a blessing to me. And certainly you've made a deposit in Clinton College. And I tell all of our speakers now, you're officially a part of the Clinton College family. So you have a standing invitation to come back at any time. We hope that when things get better, you can come from Columbus all the way to Rock Hill, South Carolina, and be with us at the campus at Clinton College. Our prayers are with you for the great work that you're doing. And I'm sure that you will get some hits on the website and people will reach out to you to think about ways that they can connect and get the benefits of being connected to your work. To all of us who have joined us today, thank you for being a part of this conversation. I hope and pray that you have been blessed by this and that you will continue to spread the word. If you know friends in your circle who were unable to see this live, please repost it on Facebook and YouTube and invite your friends to get the benefit that you have had of this great conversation today. We're now going to go to sing our alma mater, and then we'll have our closing announcements. God bless you.
Take our stand to honor
Good morning, Clinton family. I want to bring you some exciting announcements for things that we have going on at Clinton College this week and beyond. So let's get started. February 9th, tonight, our Golden Bears will be playing Johnson Wales over at the Rock Hill Sports Center. Our women play at 6 o'clock and our men play at 8 o'clock. We're encouraging everyone to come out. Our students, you attend free, just bring your student ID. We also have tomorrow Clinton Cares. Clinton Cares tomorrow, Thursday, February 10th, 7 o'clock p.m. It is a virtual event, and that is designed to help you with your academics, or if you need some help with your laptop, bright space. We want to give you the support that you need to make sure that you are a successful student here at Clinton. So Clinton Cares student check-in tomorrow at 7 o'clock, and that event is virtual. We also have MBA fellowship that's available to those who are interested, and you can get more information about that to our career services department. You can email Miss Tammy Hayes. Her email is thayes@clintoncollege.edu. We also have a financial literacy program coming up. That's February 15th at 6 o'clock. February 15th, 6 o'clock. Again, all of these events, they are virtual. Chapel, our next chapel service will be February 20th. And then last but not least, Shirley, we have tutoring available. That is always available. That is through our student support services. And if you have questions about our tutoring, please reach out to Miss Angela Duckett at aduckett@clintoncollege.edu, and she can point you in the right direction. So again, Clinton College family, thank you for your support and have a blessed week.